Hello, guys, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome back to the channel. And before we dive in, I did not love the way the last reading wrapped up regarding the person that I was about to work with. And, we just were not in alignment to work with one another. There's no bad blood between us. It was just a matter of, I felt there was not enough respect of my space from my end, and we kind of just left it at that. Yeah, I feel like maybe I didn't need to share all of that in the last reading, but it came out. But I wanted to start off with this one. Like, we are all good. Just sometimes when you're on a journey where you're holding space with other people, or other people are holding space with you, sometimes you think certain people are in alignment to work with you, and then sometimes you kind of find out that they're not, at least for the time being, and that's totally okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So let's go ahead and dive in, see what we've got going on today, and see what support can be brought forward from spirit. Gosh darn hands. Okay. Themes today for the reading, spirit. Anxiety isn't trying to limit you, but free you from a situation that no longer feels good. The how is in the now. What has your intuition been trying to tell you? And eliminate distractions. Stop shining light on things you are not. Okay. So this is interesting. I had literally, like, just this morning shared a message on Instagram about us being able to live in a more relaxed state. How often a lot of people, I think a lot of us find ourselves like on edge more than we really need to be. Like, there are no bears chasing us. We're not like on the verge of death from like this crazy extreme situation. Like, I think a lot of our necks, our vagus nerves, and like just like parasympathetic nervous systems in general can be a lot calmer. And maybe for some of us, we're like realizing that when we feel that stress, when we feel the anxiety, um, don't necessarily perceive it as a bad thing, but see it as a signal. What's being asked to shift in your world so you can feel more relaxed. You're not, like, the anxiety is not there to try to restrict you or to try to hold you back. It's trying to show you something. And if that's been hard for you to see, what the anxiety has been trying to show you, how can you feel the anxiety in this present moment and root it back to a certain experience or situation or place, thing, job that does not feel good to you? Forget about, sorry, excuse my language, forget about trying to figure out if it's truly in alignment for you, but just focus on how it feels for you. Feeling the anxiety in the present moment and trying to root it back to an experience. Ask yourself, where is this connected to? I think for some of you, that would be like, it's a pretty direct route to figure out where is this anxiety like connected to. It's just more a matter of allowing yourself the grace to feel the present moment enough, and to love yourself enough to feel it, to be brave enough to feel it. And then our last card, yeah, eliminate distractions. Stop shining light on things you are not. It's a pretty straightforward message, but intuitively, it makes me feel like maybe this is where some of the anxiety is connected to. Maybe we're doing some unnecessary things that aren't deeply relaxing us, that might be taking us out of our healing state, out of that relaxed state. We'll see if this pops up as a theme for the reading, but very interesting so far. Yikes. So, oh my God, super close to sharing with you guys the details for two of the classes, for the psychic classes that's coming together. But I'm going to share them on Instagram. I don't want to just share the details on YouTube, but the beginners class will be 3 sessions, approximately 5.5 hours. And then the intermediate class will be 2 sessions, 2 hours each class, but then there's also going to be a bonus, a third session that will be about an hour long. So I'm not going to specifically share the exact details of what's all in the bonus session, but I'll give you guys little bits of pieces of insight of what's going to come forward. And I trust that those of you that yearn to learn more of this information, what I share, what comes through when you learn about the course will be enough to help you decide to make that decision, whether it's right for you. 5 of Swords, pretty sideways, a little upright, but mostly sideways. 6 of Cups and the Star card, both upright. Those 3 cards just made me want to like take a deep breath. I think you have just went through a pretty intense period. And you're coming back into a state of recognizing everything that you need to do to maintain your current state. I feel like maybe this last month for you was just like a lot of trying to keep up and catch up, if you will, catch up energetically speaking. Maybe you like felt like you were playing catch up, like you couldn't catch a break or you couldn't fully get here, you couldn't fully feel this, like you just felt like you're just a little bit behind. Well, now you're remembering where you've first off, you've kind of gotten back to this place of like, okay, I'm centered again. I'm centered. I can create from this place better. And you're realizing and remembering that sometimes things just flow. Sometimes things like it's the ebb and flow of life, but like also this person's remembering, truly embodying like what it takes to maintain yourself, like this physical embodiment, this emotional embodiment. Not just riding the waves of life, but taking your life's reins into your own hands and are managing that in a way that's like, yeah, this feels good. So, Spirit, can you share a little bit more about this? Where is the anxiety? Where are we connecting the anxiety? 4 of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Swords. So the anxiety might feel connected to our lack of ability to make a decision, or maybe our Spirit, can you clarify the 4 of Pentacles reversed, Knight of Swords? 7 of Wands sideways. One more, please. Strength reversed. I feel like maybe some of you feel like you're making maybe you feel like you're making a wrong decision, but that is not like, don't focus on that. That's an improper belief system. I mean, I don't want to say like fully, don't focus on just saying like any decision I make is okay. But no, in this timeline, I feel like this person's kind of like overthinking. And it's interesting, even as I'm in this reading, I get a download of something to say and then I go to start speaking it and then it leaves my mind. So it's almost like thoughts come into your mind and then they leave. It's like you get an idea and then it leaves. I feel like it's connected to somebody that feels like they made a wrong decision though, like somebody that they made a bad move. Hence the anxiety, like maybe they're overworking themselves or they took on a project that they feel they shouldn't have. And it also could be for some too, like friends, like attaching yourself to people you don't need to be attached to that are not serving your highest benefit. I feel very hot in my neck and my chest as I just said that. So I feel like for some of you too, if you have friends, people that you feel like you should create firmer boundaries, you might get a little pushback from these people in your life that are no longer a match to be as super close to you, if that makes sense. But just because I felt hot doesn't mean that that's like a bad thing to cut those cords. It feels like that's really good for you to do. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna move decks. Spirit, what's the most pertinent information that you can share with us for this story? What does a soul need to see? What does a soul need to hear? Wow. Star family, you're part of a team of souls. Call in support. And this does not feel like call in support from the earthly realm. This feels like call in astral support, call in cosmic support, call in galactic support. You see all of these like etheric energy bodies like floating down, being pulled down. Call upon your helpers. Karmic relationships for the second. My fingernails were slightly dirty. That was kind of gross. I hope you guys don't go back and look at that. I was just doing yard work though, so I was, yeah. And I had holes in my gloves. Anyway, karmic relationships. Oh, this goes kind of hand in hand with what I was just picking up right here. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth and conflict. Um, yeah, I think some of you should cut some cords. And if you don't know how to do that, um, I'm not saying to just reach out to me and I'll talk you through the process, but there's things that you could learn, whether that's through psychic classes, psychic workshops, things through teaching to other people, Akashic records. Um, okay, yeah. Karmic relationships. So this party, this people, these maybe this friendship or this job that has like a karmic relationship in it. Maybe for some of you, this is why if you're feeling like you might be making a bad decision that's not supporting you. If you feel anxiety when you're around whoever this person or place or thing might be connected to this karmic relationship, that might be your answer. That might be the key that takes you in the path that helps you realize what you need to do. You are definitely growing through this, so don't feel down on yourself. I don't feel like you've made a wrong decision. I don't see it that way. But because the karmic relationship card pulls up, it feels to me, it's like this is necessary for your soul's growth. It's necessary to be brought into your awareness. And probably for their awareness as well, if they're highly connected to you. So I'm going to pull a Cryon card. I don't remember what they're called. And we're going to wrap up this reading. I want to keep it shorter, but mostly to leave it open to interpretation because there's this karmic energy present. Spirit, the most loving message and most loving and aligned message for this reading, please. We'll do them. I got 4. Pull divine love out of the bag of your own personal energy and face yourself in a forgiving way. Forgive the child inside. I don't want you guys to look at my nails again. um, okay, maybe some people maybe you did pull a trigger a little too soon on something and but even if that is the case, shaming yourself for something like that or being down on yourself for something of a decision that's already been made that you've already experienced in the earth plane, it's unnecessary. Like come back to love, come back to forgiveness, self-compassion, self-love. Like it is okay. The earth plane is like a school, and so Yeah, a lot of our decisions, it can either feel like, wow, we are moving in the right direction, or it can feel like we are not moving in the right direction. But a lot of the time, especially if you're soul watching the YouTube, like these YouTube readings, we often are like most often heading in the right direction, even in times where sometimes it feels like the decision we made was like the exact opposite of that right direction. That's a very sensitive message for us because of course some of us do make decisions where we're not heading in the right direction for our organic ascension timeline, but sometimes too for those souls that are really embodying their high path, some of those decisions that you feel like are taking you away from that high path are divinely orchestrated for your soul's growth to help you stay on that high path. I see them as like basically nuggets of extra insight that help you like maybe like skip a level or so like that. I don't really know how to describe that, but that's how I experience it. Those who sit in the circle of their own creation are the ones who are peaceful. Yeah, coming back to this anxiety, I feel like the more you come back to your heart, the more you align your heart and your mind, the calmer you're going to be. But I feel like maybe you are struggling aligning the heart and the mind right now, or maybe one is deeply anchored while one feels kind of fluttery. Um, and I gotta admit, it feels like the mind is the one that's very active right now, and the heart feels kind of disconnected. And I often feel it the other way around, like the heart is connected and the mind is overactive and disconnected. So I'm not sure what that's about. Assemble together and provide positive thought energy for the planet and the human race. In the new energy, you can create a great deal more than the sum of the whole. Back to this other card, I was hearing to meditate. Um, and even if you don't know how to meditate, you don't have to know how to meditate. Just put on some soft frequencies, close your eyes and focus on your breath and focus on letting your thoughts come up and then letting them go, just allowing them to be brought into your awareness. And then once you recognize that a thought comes up, allowing it to just pass by your mind and then recentering yourself. Cycling through that like several times. I feel like that would be really good for you. You received answers from God during the times you were complaining that there were no answers. This is common with humans that a no or a wait from spirit is often seen as a no answer at all. Celebrate the wisdom in waiting. That has a little theme for the intermediate psychic class that I'm going to get into. And I'm not going to share the details, but like the small bit that I will say is this. We're going to go into kind of what happens when we're acting on the earth plane, but when we don't have a green light from spirit or our guides to like really be taking the action. So we're going to learn about that and how to discern more of that green light for you to take action. So if that resonates with you, more details will come soon. And then the last Chiron card, Chiron, I think it's Cryon, but I've said it so many different ways so far. Assemble together and provide positive thought energy for the planet and the human race. I feel like I just read that. If I did, I'm sorry. In the new energy, you can create a great deal more than the sum of the whole. Yeah, so I feel like the final message for this reading is like, despite all of the personal problems that you are transmuting right now and allowing to work through, collaboration, collective love, unconditional love is still also medicine. It feels like a lot of us are very inner humans right now and, for good reason, but still remember that, etherically speaking, um, there's so much more going on than what we see down here. So I'm going to leave it at that. If this message resonated, consider liking and subscribing. It'll help the channel grow, help just spread the word about spirit. And yeah, much love to you guys. I will see you all next time.